Friday night footy. We're here for it.
Wow.
First time ever.
I forgot it was Friday.
It's Friday.
Wow.
Welcome to Fridays.
This is our first ever Friday show.
Yeah, BackChat podcast powered by Fleet Network. They're getting double now.
Wow.
Do we need to sort that out?
They are Novotetting leases all over the country right now.
Great.
Yeah. Have we done a deal there?
Mate, I think this is getting double now.
Double
Well done. Well done to them. Thank you. They've been powering the podcast, so we back them in. A couple of big things off the top. We're going to talk tipping.
Yes.
Because we got a comp that you got to join, right? We're going to
AFL tipping, weekly prizes, bigger than last year.
way bigger.
Bigger.
Huge.
Bigger.
Yeah, bigger,
We're
definitely.
going to talk about that soon.
Very soon.
When we're joined by our friend Hamish Braggs.
Hamish, he's on his way.
Had to start early.
Yeah.
I'm calling a preseason game.
Go to the Pink concert, so you need to be there in time.
Everyone else is. My Uber that I've ordered is $50 from where we are to 6PR. It's a 4-minute drive. $50.
That's outrageous. That's price gouging, as they call it.
Talking about being on the road, I don't know if we've got some things to cover off on.
Yeah.
Can I just have a little story?
Go for it.
Is that all right?
Wait, before you do that, let me just tell everyone, we're going to talk to Dean Margetts, Umpire.
Dino.
Yeah, he's coming on the show.
Great.
And we're also talking to Adam Child, Warnie, as you may know him.
No one's ever called him Adam Child. Warnie, who've been on the podcast, the Fantasy Boys, the Dream Team lads, they are Dream Team Talk lads, the Traders. They've got a lot of things they're known as. They're the kings of fantasy.
Now's your time. Listen, because we're going to get him in before like the round starts, right?
Yep.
So
the year?
The year, yeah.
Yes. Is that what you're looking for?
I don't know.
The year
Is that
of
what
football.
they call it? Yes.
2024 starts next week.
Yep.
We'll speak to Warnie about fantasy teams. We've got tipping coming up. We've got Dean Margetts.
Yep.
Talking about cars.
Yes.
Just drove back from the Shelter Live show, which is a bloody great event. If you missed it, bad luck. If you were there, great to see you. A lot of BackChat fans there as well to Shelter Footycast.
Yep.
Fans, myself and Mark Reading's down at Shelter. Anyway, we drove back today. The drive took forever. It's a long weekend over here in Perth if you're not here.
So everyone's coming down to Perth.
I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, okay.
But I was very frustrated. Sun beaming in, very hot. We're in Nick's car. I was driving Nick because he's a shit driver. And so I drove him home. One of the all-time worst radio segments I've ever heard in my life. At peak frustration levels, I said, can we put some fucking talk back on? Because I cannot handle this anymore.
AM or FM?
You can guess the station.
Okay, cool.
Right? You can guess the station. Yeah. Nick presses the button, goes on, right? And the first words that the host utters is, give us a call, blah, 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 blah. Yep. What's your favourite rock formation?
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
Okay, that's definitely the ABC.
It was the ABC. It just was rock bottom, if you want to talk about
So
rocks.
that's the drive program?
I was at high level frustration. I wanted to hear someone else's voice other than Nick's.
Yep.
And I copped, what's your favourite rock formation? What have you seen driving around? Well, I don't know.
Like wave rock?
I would say like Ayers rock. It was Uluru, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
That's about the only Stonehenge.
Oh, do you know what?
Stonehenge?
Do you know what's a huge letdown?
Pyramids of Giza?
The Pinnacles.
Pinnacles? Yeah. Are they locked?
There's tiny little rocks on the sand. People drive hours out there.
Sorry, I just need to get off my chest.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, well, I'm going to send a message to
off.
some of my friends that work there and say, what are you guys doing? Favourite rock formation?
I think I hear Hamish coming in as well.
Okay, great. We left the door ajar for him to walk in. Now, tipping. Let's get into that. Do we need Hammer here for this?
We do. We need Hammer here for this.
Okay, well...
Let's talk to Dean Margetts, I believe.
Should we get Dean Margetts? Oh, is that what we're going to do first then? Yeah, we are going to do that. Nick, we close to getting Dean up? He's giving us a nod. Before we do that, we are going to Donna. It's Friday.
You right?
Yeah, just not used to stop.
Okay, so the run sheet that you've built that's on your lap.
Yep.
You've got it. I reckon you've got it covered.
Yeah, and it's got tipping in front of me,
right,
so
it's
that's
got
why
tipping.
it's
and then we need
Dean Margetts. He's not ready.
Just before we went live, we said we need all three of us to talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I thought Hammer was here. I'm gonna give you a sliding doors moment because we're gonna fill some time until we get Dean Margetts ready. Okay. I saw this. How do you like this? So this is an if then then. You know they write this on.
Like Damien Barrett.
Yeah, Barrett. This is this one. So this is about Brisbane. If the Lions were to have stopped the red time goals kicked by Collingwood in last year's Toyota AFL Grand Final.
Please don't tell me then they would have won it.
And also properly been awarded that free kick inside the final minute and not been forced to take an advantage in whatever those things are called, which was actually a disadvantage.
How long is this thing?
Then they probably would have been premiers.
I'll give you one.
Yeah,
I'll give you one.
Yeah, go.
If the West Coast Eagles didn't have an injury to every one of their players, had a game plan that stood up against final sides, managed to score in games of football, win more games,
Yep.
not have to cull their entire football club,
Could defend.
Yep. Against the turnover, then they might have played finals last year.
Might have. There you go.
I reckon we need to speak to someone because you and I are losing our minds here. We're very, very lucky.
Friday,
and we have a lot of friends of the family here at BackChat, and this man is one of them.
100%.
First umpire we interviewed here at BackChat.
Correct.
Gave us our thoughts, his feelings, gave his thoughts, his feelings, and he's here to do it again. He's going to be joining us regularly on the BackChat
Love
podcast.
that.
Dean bloody Margetts, everybody. Hello, Dino.
Bit of a
G'day, BackChat family.
Hello, Dino. How are you, mate?
Great to be part of it again, gents.
He's frozen.
He's frozen. He's got a bit of internet issues. What I like, so we're just looking at Dean Margetts at the moment. I love that he's got the glass panel windows behind him.
They look good.
They look very nice.
Very nice.
And also that canvas of him and I presume his partner at the top there. Just looking over him at all times. Really love that.
Correct.
Dino,
You're a little bit frozen, Dano. You might have to jump off your Wi-Fi or your dial-up. I'm not sure what you're using over there.
You might still be using Dodo dial-up.
Can't hear me?
We can hear you. We just can barely see you. But that's okay. That's fine. We can hear you perfectly. How are you, Dean? How's the summer treated you, mate?
No, it's good. I've had another preseason, but I'm disappointed that you got the goat in the other week. It's banded. That hurt a lot.
Did it hurt? I mean, we're giving more love to the umpires. I thought that might have made you happy, Dean.
Yeah, but I think I got the umpire love rolling when we came on the program, 18 months ago? The ball started, the momentum was created. So, I'm pleased that Brett was on the show. It was a good interview.
That is correct. Now, I was flipping my way through the 2024 season guide. It's full of stats, and I was in the umpire section.
Great.
I was calling Brett the GOAT because he's umpired the most games.
Yep.
But Matty Stevic, Dino, he has umpired about 50 grand finals in a row, and he's umpired the most grand finals. Is that correct?
Correct. He's done 10 or 11 now.
Right, 10 or 11. He's done
That's
it, and he's done them in the last 15 years.
Yeah, he went back to back to back. That's pretty impressive. That's like, could you equate that to like an AFL player, Dean? Like, what sort of levels are we talking, Stevic?
Yeah, it's like Dustin Martin a bit, isn't it? Like multiple North medalists.
Yep.
Premiership player multiple times. Best and fairest multiple times. That sort of era.
There you go. Dusty Martin equivalent. Now, I think we just need Razor Ray. Do we get Razor Ray on? Is that like as a third guy?
No, Razor doesn't meet the caliber at the moment.
Okay.
Now, Dino, we've got you on. We've got some pretty dodgy. We've got a bit of a dodgy line, mate. So we're gonna do our best. But Dino, there's been some umpiring, some rule changes this year, specifically around contact to the head and protecting players in that regard, around the Braden Maynard type issue. There's some ruck differences with what's going on there. You're no longer allowed to whistle from the bench. Have you seen these changes? What are your thoughts on them? Can you give us a bit of a wrap?
I have. Not sure about the whistling. How you're going to measure the whistling, if it's a crowd person or a person on the bench, that might be difficult. So we'll park that one.
Okay.
The ruck rule, not so sure. Basically what they're saying now is, guys, if you block your ruck with an arm, but you're looking at the ball, that's okay. Whereas last year it wasn't okay.
We're going to have to cut you, Dino, because the lines... I'm going to let Nick, our producer, speak to you for a little bit. Your line's completely butchered.
Because I really want to hear these things. And
so we might get Dino on a little bit. We're going to see if we can clean up the
it.
line. Nick's going to have a chat to you. We might welcome him back on.
Yep.
It did sound like he was in some sort of subterranean aquarium of some description.
You know what? Maybe those glass panels were like the windows of like the base of a cruise liner or something.
Right. Maybe it was under the sea. Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, under the sea.
So we went over for Fox Footy, right, during the week.
Yep.
And Laura Kane spoke to us as sort of a whole department of commentators, special comments guys and girls. And she spoke about some of these rule changes. And the biggest thing I took away from her, and she was really impressive about how she answered all questions. It started getting a bit heated with a few things as well. Just not heated, I suppose, but the people were pressing her. There was quite a few smart minds in there and how that was all operating. Yeah. The biggest one the AFL are trying to do, I believe, is to stop the players getting hurt.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. I really think that's almost impossible to do. I think it's impossible to play a physical contact game and stop players from getting hurt. I don't think you can have that as your motivator, but it does sound like that is the motivator. The reason being action v outcome, and action that may or may not hurt somebody. You might get a head, you might get a hip, you might get a body. The exact same action might not hurt somebody, and they don't get suspended. I don't think we're going about the right way. In fact, I spoke to a few people over about it, and my idea was, the NFL has changed the way they've played the game. They used to have safeties absolutely sniping blokes from a million miles away. They started fining the absolute pants off the players.
Right.
Like $100,000 for an action like we saw from Sam Palpepper.
Right, so they wouldn't suspend them.
No suspensions. It would lead to suspensions, but the fines were significant, and you couldn't. So you couldn't fine a player $100,000. Like, I'd be paying money to be playing in the AFL in my last couple of years at $100,000. But if you could do, like right now, a melee might cost you $3,000-$4,000. I reckon if you for an action, if you got fined $20,000, I reckon that'd stop you. I reckon there's a lot of players running around out there on game day that $20,000 would pull them up. Whereas I don't know if 2 or 3 weeks does. You still get paid. You're still getting their training. Yes, you let your team down, but I don't know if the suspension stuff works that well. I'd like to see a massive fines increase, and I know players will hate that, but I reckon it'd stop them doing it, which is what the AFL wants to do.
Isn't the argument, though, like that if you put in these heavy suspensions, like players just won't go in as hard or whatever? Like, isn't that the thing that people think if you penalise it too harshly, then, then guys just won't tackle?
Well, that's what's going on. Like,
right.
The AFL can't continue to have players injured, and they need to look after them. So we're going to see that. It's whether or not punters like you can go to the footy and not complain about not being like the old days. Because we're going to have to accept that. You always complain.
Well, I complain about my team, but I don't whatever. With you going over with all the Fox guys, obviously there's a lot of old boys in there that played footy a long time ago. Back in my day, we used to rip people's heads off. Were those the ones that were a bit more like? So
there was a discussion around the bounce, like taking the bounce away, right, which I want to ask Dino about because I think he was in favour of removing it.
Yeah,
the last time we spoke about.
Yep.
So there was a big debate about that, and then there was a debate about Brownlow medal voting and whether the umpires should get stats.
Oh yes, okay.
And I was like, I was sort of sitting there like, what are we doing? Like, can we talk about some because
there's no decision makers.
Well, the thing with the Brownlow medal with stats to umpires, like, it's the Brownlow medal. That's how it's done. If you give them stats, then it's like the MVP award, which is voted by the players, they get stats, or the coaches award. There's not really any difference. The difference between the Brownlow medal and the coaches award, yes, coaches versus umpires, but coaches award it on the Monday after. They don't give it straight after the game. They get a bit of time to sit around and give their votes, whereas the umpires don't. That's the difference, and that's why it is what it is. That's just what the Brownlow is. Why we want to change it?
Yeah, they got to stop changing things like that. Just embrace it. It's never going to be perfect, but then they'll change it to something else, and then there'll be a problem with that, and then they'll keep changing things. Who else was there? Give us some of the big names that you went over and sort of rubbing shoulders with.
So it was actually quite funny because of some of my action on Twitter and X in the last 6 months. I do stuff and then I chuckle away, but then I think, like running into them, I wouldn't feel awkward because I'm like, it's like. But so like Nathan Buckley, for instance, like we did that piece last year to camera.
That's right.
Sometimes you win.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't.
Yep.
Sometimes you get it right.
Yep.
Sometimes you get it wrong.
Yep.
Dom Sheed from the boundary, right? When I was whispering to the camera. And then I was like, oh, yeah. Anyway, so I was like, hello, mate. What's going on? Had a great chat to Bucks. So
really?
Nathan Buckley. Yeah, he's a great fella. Never met him before.
Can we have him on BackChat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Confirmed.
Right.
Jason Dunstall.
Yep.
Derek Raritan. Had a very long chat to Jack Rewalt around the Tasmanian situation.
Oh, of course,
the Tassie
boy.
Salmons.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like the guy.
Yeah, the ambassador or something. Yeah.
So he's doing a bit of that. He says like they'll be, moving towards a release this month.
Did you get
very, very tight-lipped on the Tassie Salmons?
Really?
I put it straight to him, and he was held to secrecy.
Gee, but then I
should have taken a sticker for him. Here you go, mate. Put some. I could have taken a whole roll for him.
Right. I did hear a rumour, though, that he was chatting to people over at the Fox footy event, and he was doing that thing with his hands where he makes a little fish, and he was swimming towards people and winking at them. So maybe that was an indication that the salmons are coming.
Fuck, you're a liar. That's very good.
Yeah, you're good.
Footy's pretty much back though, which I'm pretty bloody happy about.
We were watching it before, and it's just amazing.
Footy's
it's really bad footy.
It's pre-season footy. Okay, that's fine. There's some bad shit going on. I will say that. So I think we should focus today on the show a little bit about some goal kicking, right?
Yes.
So I was watching the game last night. It was Carlton v. Can't even remember. And our good friend Harry Mackay was there.
Yep.
Now, I want to be very clear here. This is not a crack at Harry Mackay. This is a crack at goal kickers.
Yeah, he's copped it enough from other people. We're not those people.
Harry is having some struggles still. He's worked pretty hard over the off-season.
Okay.
I think you've got some quotes in front of you.
I do, yeah. It says, I think being really clear on where your spots are, where to kick a drop punt or snap from, is something I've tried to solidify a bit more over the off-season. So that's good.
He and Charlie Curnow have this weird sort of setup where they're snapping from literally everywhere. Charlie Curnow took one at the top of the goal square last night.
Did he snap it?
He snapped it on his opposite foot from 12 metres out.
Why?
He stood there and, mate, that's his routine.
Okay. Yeah,
that's his routine.
If it works.
So these guys, they clearly have discussions and they're clear, this is where I'm going to snap from. This is where I'm going to kick from.
Yeah, okay. But they're just... Okay, so again, their spot sorted. And then he also says, I think that knowing what to kick from each spot alleviates any decision on the ground with the emotion of the game if you're pretty clear. So it's the mental side of things there with that. He's already it's predetermined. He doesn't have to think about it too much.
These are all quotes from Harry Mackay, right? There's so
Harry
many things that can happen on game day, like emotion, fatigue, crowd energy, and whatever it is. Again, not a crack at Harry Mackay.
No.
But some of the kicks that are coming off his boot.
Okay.
And others in the competition.
Yep.
Forwards. Right?
Yes.
Forwards. I don't understand how they are physically happening. Like, they are going at right angles.
Okay.
We're not talking about missing a goal, right? Forwards.
They miss goals.
They miss goals, right? We
Part
know
of
they
the
don't win premierships.
Yep.
Right?
They just sell memberships.
They sell memberships. Some of these right-angled kicks that are going on in the preseason are absolutely disgraceful, and they will continue in the season. And I don't know how it happens. So all that stuff's right with Harry Mackay.
Yep.
But not once. Like, if you scour the internet, please send it in if you can find it. I never in my life would have kicked a right-angled kick like some of these guys are doing. I don't understand how they're doing it. Hamish Brayshaw, everybody.
Welcome.
Come in, buddy. Okay, very good.
Walked in with another roll of stickers.
Yeah, go sit down, mate. Come and sit down, big fella. Very good. Welcome,
Hey,
Hamish.
guys. Thanks for coming.
We're talking goal kicking and angles from goal kicking.
I don't know how some of these guys are butchering it the way they are. Is what point was, Hamish. I don't know if you've seen some of them.
Yeah,
I saw Harry Mackay's.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
have a look at this one from
that.
today. This was just before.
This is Matt Guelphy's.
Matty Guelphy. Good looking man.
Yeah.
Stunner.
No, that's not Matty Guelphy. That is
That's a pretty good
absolutely great party in Vegas.
This will be video 4, Jules. This will be video 4. Have a look at this one, Hammer. See this one?
Did he just try a banana?
He tried a banana from the top of the goal square.
What?
The Harry Mackay, which is video 3.
That's that's.
I didn't realise we had a video of this. Have a look at this Harry Mackay video that I was playing before. Watch this.
That's the problem range for him, 30 to 50 from goal.
The problem range for him. He's straight in front of goal and he's kicked out at
30
right
to
angles.
50 to goal, and he's a full forward. He's a Coleman medalist. What
So-
do you mean that's your problem range?
So this is the thing. This is what I don't want to be too critical of Harry, even though that kick is absolutely awful. He's a Coleman medalist.
Yeah.
he can play.
Forwards in general. Is it mental? I don't understand how you can kick.
This is
sideways
going to
like
come probably from a real punter's point of view,
Yeah,
right?
mate, love it.
But
that. This is actually what the people
we're
are here.
for. Yeah.
But-
they're here for.
if you gave the ball to Harry, right, and you ran 40 meters away, and you said, "Yep, right here, Harry," I guarantee you'd kick it probably within a couple of meters.
Yeah,
right?
he's not missing you by that much.
No,
is he?
so why don't goal kickers just pretend they're kicking? Just like, I know that's like, aim for a target, aim for a thing. Like, they're not that inaccurate when they're kicking to a person. Why are they so inaccurate when they're trying to kick it
I think
to
it's
three?
mental.
It's mental. It's the
That's
pressure
right.
of kicking a goal. The same thing with free throws in basketball.
Yep.
That all the studies done on that about when the going gets tough, and it's like in a playoff game, the percentage drops and whatever. It's like it's all between the ears.
So, Hammer, you don't know what's going on here, but we did try to chat to Dean Margetts just before. We've got Dean Margetts back on the line.
Dino.
No video from
No
Dino,
video, that's okay.
but he's joining us live. Are you in some sort of underwater vessel, Dino? What is happening?
Can you hear me okay,
We
guys?
can,
Yeah,
yes.
loud and clear,
Did you
loud
come
and
up for air? What's happened?
I'm glad. No, I'm in the Swan Valley, mate, so I'm not in probably the cleanest area, but I've moved to the daughter's bedroom and internet box is, so it should be crystal clear now.
Very good. You sound very, very good. Now, Dino, I was mentioning a few things while I was trying to sort your line out. There were some interesting conversations at the Fox Footy briefing that we had during the week. One of them being around the Brownlow medal voting. Should umpires get stats when they vote? What do you think about that?
I 100% agree with what you said, Will. It's the Umpires Award. It's the unique nature of the award. If it's stats award, do we just give 3 to the 43 disposals or the 16 marks or 10 goals? Is that the award? No. I agree with what you said. the Sacrosanct Award for umpires. We don't always get it probably right on every game, but I reckon there's not too many award winners who have won it who you'd say were not deserving. Not too dissimilar to our reigning Sandover medalist in the same room there, Hamish Brayshaw.
Yeah,
There
thank
he
you,
is.
Dino, mate. It's an umpire's award, and I'd happily take it every day of the week.
What about
I thought you might.
what about bouncing and throwing the ball up? I remember we asked you this on the BackChat episode when we had your guest chat. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've moved to it's time to change. I've always been a massive advocate of the bounce, but I saw some concerning stats with our waffle umpires, and we decided to make the big call last year to remove it. And I've seen umpires almost become so much more freer in their decision making. It's less stressed, less anxious. Not one person that I spoke to last year, all the waffle games I saw, players, coaches, supporters complained about it. I'm sure Hamish can speak from a midfielder's point of view that they wouldn't have even noticed the difference. If it rained for 24 weeks and straight up, no one would care. And quite frankly, now it's just evolved to our game and it just works. I think it's sad that some people in the AFL who just like it for themselves personally. They're not sort of maybe exploring the greaterness of the game, I suppose, and what it can do to umpires and lessen barriers and make better decision makers. So I think it's time, Will, to get rid of the bounce.
What, Hammer? Like, you've done it both.
Yeah,
You've seen bounces, no bounces.
To be honest, like, you don't really notice a difference as a player.
Well, you did, because you've never won a Sandover when they bounce the
when
ball.
they bounce the
and then
ball.
Stop bounce
I
the
came
ball.
second when they bounced the ball. Nah, look, it's I just don't think it makes too much of a difference. If the umpires don't necessarily have to focus on getting a bounce right, and you can just throw it up. Not only does it give, it just gives consistency with what's happening. It doesn't, like, you don't get recall bounces. It doesn't interrupt the flow of the game. And realistically, like, you know, what's the bounce do? You get a little bit of unpredictability in the centre. Apart from that, that's it. So for the sake of having a consistently flowing game and to take the pressure off umpires trying to learn what is, a bloody difficult sport to umpire, it's a no-brainer to get rid of it, I think.
Dean Margetts joining us on the phone. Yeah, keep going, Dino.
I think just on that, Will, is even like for training, like when Hamish goes to training at Perth, I mean, the coaches, they would never bounce the ball because they can't, but if they can throw it up, it just simulates training like it would be in game day. So when the umpires aren't there assisting with training, it's just an easier flow for clubs. It protects the integrity of time. We're not losing 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds off the clock when it's a skew with bounce. So really, I think there's many flaws for sort of getting rid of it versus keeping it now.
Now, before we let you go, Dino, just the 3 rule changes I want your opinions on, and maybe how that would be for umpires to adjudicate. The brain and Maynard, protection of the head sort of side of things. The stiff arm in the ruck, whether that's going to change ruck contests and how hard that'll be officiate for umpires. And the whistling from the bench, whether or not you've seen or heard that or know anything about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that one came from. I've umpired for over 20 years, and I cannot remember ever hearing a whistle from the bench that actually affected play or a player's attention. So I'll park that one.
Great, correct.
I heard many things from the bench, and it wasn't whistling. I think it was go forth and multiply, Margetts. So that's another story.
Go forth and multiply. Very good.
The ruck one's an interesting one as far as the stiff arm. Provided you're looking at the ball, you can stiff arm your opponent. Look, the rationale apparently, Will, is so that they can create some consistency with marking contests. I think what it's done now, it's just created another issue for the umpires to look at the player's eyes and head. And is that what we want? I'm not so sure. I didn't think it was a big issue last year. I thought we umpired the ruck contest pretty well. So I'm sure in this sort of pre-season phase, we'll see how it plays out. But we'll all adjust like we always do. And the third one was obviously the Angus Brayshaw / Brandon Maynard one where you sort of go up for the smother and then obviously, unfortunately, in that situation, made head-high contact. Again, I don't think I've seen an incident like that in sort of 10 or 15 years. So I don't see we're going to see a massive plethora of it coming forward. But the good thing is, and I'm sure Hamish will agree that if we can protect the players' heads and the welfare of the player, that's another good thing for our game.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a question, one more on that ruck one, Dino.
Yep.
I imagine, so you can't fend off high, so you can't stiff arm and get him in the head. Does that just open, if a player's having to look at the ball and hold his arm straight, what happens if the other ruck just sort of ducks his head on purpose and makes contact with his hand?
If he contributes to the contact, that would be play on. No different to in a normal general play situation.
Yep.
But like I say, we've got a coaches meeting with all the waffle clubs in a couple of weeks. We've got a whole heap of examples. So when you see it, you'll go, okay, I get it. But again, it's just another layer for the umpires to worry about. Do we need to bring it in? I don't know. Maybe the AFL felt like there was enough changes last year, so we're going to put a couple in. Maybe. I think our game's in pretty good state as far as the rules go, and it's played in a really great spirit, and it's going to be a really good product again in 2024. I'm sure of it.
Dean Margetts, mate, thank you for joining us.
Dino.
We're going
Dean.
to be crossing the Dino a bit this year. We need some clarification because clearly sometimes we have no idea what we're talking about.
Never.
Paying Dino with cherry ripes. That's correct, Dean?
That's correct, mate.
Cherry ripes. Dino,
Love the
that's
cherry
my
ripe.
favourite chocolate
Yep.
too, mate. Love it.
So we've got a box of
Exactly
those
right.
coming in for you, mate. We appreciate you joining us.
Beauty.
We'll sort this video out and we'll speak to you in the next couple of weeks.
I'll look forward to seeing the new studio. Will might come out one day and have a sit down next year as well.
Bloody
Perfect.
unreal.
Yeah,
There
let's
we
do
go.
that.
Thank you, mate. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
If
guys.
you
Take care.
if you heard that and you thought, I've got so many questions about umpiring, and you send them in.
Oh, yeah.
You send it.
We'll ask
We
Dino,
them.
might
Dean,
ask it if it's
yeah,
good.
we might
Absolutely.
ask Dave if it's
BackChat
good.
double underscore on Instagram, or send us an email, hello@backchatstudios.com.au. Tipping. Hammer, you're here, so we can
Hey,
talk
guys.
about
Thanks.
tipping.
Sorry, I'm a little late.
No,
Thanks.
that's fine,
Great to
mate.
be
You
here.
got things to do. We started a bit early because Will's going to Pink, and he's really excited
Yeah.
about it.
Going
It's-
to Pink.
You're going to Pink.
It's
I'm
okay
going
to
to
go
call
to Pink.
Freo Port Adelaide.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Sure.
That's
Whatever.
A little bit.
It's costing me $40 to
So that
get there.
game's
So
at like
thanks to
7
Uber.
o'clock, mate. So
Okay,
what?
very good. I'm going to call in a pink, okay? Shut up. Now, tipping.
Tipping, yeah.
Yes.
We forgot to talk about it properly on the show last week. Tipping is back. You got to sign up as a patron to play.
Yes. How do you do that?
You sign up as a patron, you're going to go in the link on that bio. You can go to backchatstudios.com.au /backchat podcast. You go backchatpodcast.com.au, sign up as a
can.
patron.
So many ways.
Sign up to the cage. Cost you $5 a month.
Nothing.
Yep.
Right? That is nothing.
That
$5 a month.
that's a coffee a
If you
month.
want to get better benefits, $10 a month. If you want to get the best benefits, $20 a
The
month.
fullbacks.
Right?
We
You
love
got
the fullbacks.
Halfback,
We love all the
fullbacks,
backmen.
and back pockets. Now, $5 a month for your chance to win $250 a week.
Stupid.
Thank you very, 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 very
Cash?
much. No, it's
Okay.
a voucher.
Okay, good.
To where? Don't know yet.
It's a venue.
Understood.
Ooh.
Could be the hippie club.
Wow.
Great.
Probably no, it's not the hippie club.
Okay, that'd be nice.
It's a venue in
It's like a
Perth.
little bar card.
$250 vouchers.
Something like that. Great.
You say there was $250 vouchers last year. You said you gave more.
Oh, what? And was
Yeah.
that not a good prize?
Well, it was a great
Sounded
prize,
like
but
a
I
great
said we'd
We'll
give you more.
Yep.
Yeah.
$250 a week for tipping. At the end of the year,
Wow.
the grand prize, ladies and
$1
gentlemen.
billion.
Last year it was $2,000.
Yep.
This year it is
Don't tell me.
$2,001. Not
it?
joking. It absolutely is. Hammer did not know that. $2,001. You can't say we don't do better here at BackChat.
Of course.
Yeah, inflation though.
Look, in all seriousness,
Probably less than inflation.
that's cash.
That's huge.
Cash money.
That's $2,001 cash, right? No whingers here. Sign up. Get your stuff going.
I've already done my tips for the whole year.
We're tipping. So please,
Yes.
Hammer, I was just about to say, what are you doing this year? Because we thought we'd sort of have a bit of fun this year, see how we go.
Yep. So tipping.
Because we can't win. We can't
We
win. the
can't win.
vouchers.
I'm terrible at tipping. So what I do typically when I tip is I do the first couple of rounds and then give up. Which this format is brilliant for that. So
also,
you
also
can,
because you've had to tip West Coast
I've
every
had
week.
to tip West Coast every week, so I've just been out of it. But now I can tip with my head a bit more.
You don't have to pick West Coast.
I will now do all my tips before the season starts.
Right.
So I'm going to go through every round until the end of the year and just tip.
You can tip the whole way. Yeah, you can
I
tip
can
the
tip the
yeah.
entire way through, and I'm going to do that and see where I go. You're going to tip the favourite minus with one roughie, and you're going to tip the home team with one
with one that
away
So
team.
your
Yes.
home teams only.
No. So you get home teams only with one away team a week.
You get one away.
And your favourites only with one roughie every week.
Who do you reckon goes better? Like genuine.
I'd say I think
I think
you-
I mean,
no,
the
I
odds
think-
say I do.
No, I
Yeah.
think you're going to go better. Because
Really?
there's a lot of games where it's like
Dollar.
$1.85 and $1.95, so you
Yes.
have to go the $1.85.
Yeah,
but
true.
that's not clear cut favourites.
I think this is a brilliant social experiment.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of the guy who won last year. Great stuff.
Yeah.
I think he signed up again.
Jack.
So someone needs to take him down.
Was it Jack?
Jack? Jack me off. Now, Jack, if it was Jack,
Jack Buckley.
I think
Best player ever.
I think he did my sort of method, favourites mostly, and then
Yeah, he
tried to
did.
pick a roughie.
Yeah, that's right.
So
You
this
could
is a
be on-
social experiment. We're going to
Yeah.
find the best of the best here.
Do you know what else I've just realised as well, which I'm stoked about? I could tip it the entire season ahead of time because I can literally just go through and tip all the home teams. I don't have to worry about doing it week by week and it being a thing that I forget to do.
Nah, well, because you're going to have to tip one away team every week, and so you're going to wait to see the ups and
True.
downs of
Okay, yeah, so no, it'd be dumb for me to do it ahead
It'd be
of time.
terribly dumb.
Sign up for
horrible.
tipping, right?
Worst thing I've ever done.
Sign up for tipping.
Idiot.
Sign up for tipping. Sign up for tipping.
Yeah, you
Yes.
got to sign up for tipping.
$250 vouchers each and every week. $2,001 grand cash prize at the end of the year.
Phenomenal stuff.
All thanks to BackChat Studios at this stage.
Absolutely. And you know what? You get to go in tipping, but you also get extra benefits. Early episodes, giveaways.
No ads.
Q&As.
No ads. Yeah.
So many other things and the chance to win prizes. Could we have anything better? No.
I don't know.
Matt Harris was his name.
Matt Harris.
Matt Harris.
Came from 3 back.
That's
3
true.
tips down to win in the
Oh,
final
yeah, he overtook the
round.
the winner.
right.
Yeah, that's huge.
Tipped North
right.
Melbourne.
I wonder what he did with that money.
Yeah.
It's not my business to know, but
No, it isn't. It'd be nice to know.
it'd be nice to know.
If only we had a contact.
Matt Harris is the son of my former GP back home, my childhood doctor.
Is that right?
Yeah, Andrew Harris, his name was, and his son's name's Matt.
There you go.
Is
I
this
don't
the same
think this.
person?
I don't think Matt won.
Okay.
The Matt that I know won the tipping.
Yeah.
Sign up
That's
to
his name.
Patreon. You
Sign
have
up
to be a
to Patreon.
patron
Gotta
through
be
the
a
whole
patron.
year to win.
Yeah,
your cash
that's good.
prize.
That's
That was the
good.
whole point of being.
Hey, Jules and Damo, Nick, the guys behind the cameras. I know we've messed you guys around a little bit. We've gone to Dino, then we went not to Dino. We've done some videos out of order. We're gonna talk about the NRL, Hammer, because they're in Vegas at the moment. So that's
they're in Vegas.
just for those playing at home. That's video one, Jules. They had $5,000. I'm thinking about money. 5,000 people at a fan day in Vegas.
did they?
That's huge.
Did the Vegas fans?
I
really know
don't
what-
think it's.
Give us a-
Holy shit! Okay, I thought it wasn't a big deal.
this.
Who's
Okay.
playing? Who's DJing? What is happening? That doesn't look like a fan day. That looks like a party.
Yeah, that's a festival.
That looks amazing.
So there's 40,000 tickets sold for the game.
So the NRL
the
are
first
just
one.
on a complete junket over to Vegas.
Absolutely.
Just so we
Yeah.
know.
They've sent all of their
It's like gather round.
the guys, that
It's
talk
like
on the
gather
mic.
round.
It's gather round
Ours is
in
in
Vegas.
Adelaide.
Yeah, and theirs is in Vegas. The city of churches versus the city of sins.
So they've got 4 teams over there.
Sin
Manly
City.
Seagulls, one of those. Our men on the ground, Hello Sport lads, Tom and Eddie. I've seen them over there. Junket, complete junket, having a great time, spending too much money, smoking cigars, shooting guns, do everything you do in America, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
It got me thinking,
we should go to Vegas.
let's go to Vegas. No, it got me thinking, Australia has done this. Like, there has been exhibition matches in other countries.
Yes, China.
So I had Nick pull some of these ones here. Can you see those, Dan? Have a look at some of these.
Okay, here we go. So the first exhibition match was played in Honolulu, Geelong v Melbourne, 1963.
Oh,
Who would have thought?
That'd be fucking unreal. Hawaii. That'd be so good. Like, and
Maybe
no
I
one
can find that guy who give me the board shorts. Remember that guy? Josh Battle, you've got my board shorts, you dog.
Patron, if you're not a patron,
Patrons
yeah,
know that's
patron
right.
knows.
That's true. Hammer, you missed out on this one. East Perth played Subi, practice match in Delhi, 1969. Let's go to India.
Great.
1972, Carlton did a world tour against the All-Stars. We don't know who the All-Stars is. Nick couldn't find out information. Singapore, Athens, and London.
Wow.
Now, this might be the weirdest one of all. West Coast played North Melbourne in Portland in front of 14,000.
14,000 is pretty good. We've seen London games. We've seen games in China. We went through that. We got the flight through
Yeah,
the
we got the
stadium
flight
last
through the
year.
stadium last year. That was funny.
Where do you reckon we could actually take this? Like, I was thinking, like, junket-wise, like, where would it be fun to go to?
Miami.
The Bahamas would be wicked.
Miami.
Like, imagine playing in Jamaica or something.
Yeah, that
Miami's
would
got
be good.
the... Oh, it's probably too hot in Miami, isn't it?
Maybe. It's
What's-
probably
what
got
do
an
you mean
indoor
too hot in
stadium.
Miami?
Indoor
Sometimes it gets
stadium.
hot. You're playing
It's
40
hot here.
degrees here.
It's 45 degrees right now.
It's true.
It's really bloody hot.
Yeah, doing it in the West Indies and the Caribbean would be awesome.
All right.
I think we're going
Island
to take a break.
Yeah, real quick break.
I'm going to be gone.
You're going to be gone?
Yeah.
Hammer, do you
If
play,
we quickly do it, if we quickly do the break, let's quickly do the break.
Alright, let's do the break right
Introduce
now.
Warnie.
Let's go.
Warnie
Right this
coming
second.
up. Dream Team. He's almost here. Yep. Got no audio from.
Around. I don't like cars. I just need somewhere to get from point A to
what
point
have we
B.
Kill
Fleet
our
Network
mics
can
for
do
me.
that for you while saving you money if you are employed by anybody.
Yep.
That is a qualification you need. You need to be an employee.
I'm one of those.
You could be an employer and it could help you, but employees, you go to Fleet Network, they sort your shit out, and then you get yourself a car, a brand new one.
Yeah, you Novated yourself a lease and
And
you're away.
you literally you just give it over to Frank and the boys. They handle it with your employer.
Everything. There's apps.
great.
You put expenses through there. They pay you back your money. It's all inclusive. You pay one fee for the month. So I don't know. You get down there. You get yourself an Isuzu car that I've got. It's fucking great.
The D-Max.
Yeah, the D-Max, Isuzu D-Max. You go, all right, here's the Isuzu D-Max. They say, here's the amount of money you need to pay a month. That's all we heard from you. That's all she wrote. There's the money.
Drive away,
There's
no
the
more
car.
to pay. Shit,
Well,
yeah.
there's some to pay.
There's
but-
obviously more to pay. It's an ongoing lease. That's the whole point.
You know what though? Last week I got my
Drive away, no more to pay until next month. You have to pay again.
I got my car serviced, so
Idiot.
I'm not with Fleet Network right now, and I'm working towards getting a fleet service.
Yes.
Went and got my car service. I dropped it off, did all that stuff. The guy was showing me all these forms. I was like, how much am I going to pay? He's like, do you want the extra $45? The oil thing. I was like, man, I don't know anything about this. I should just be with Fleet
Bundle
Network.
it all in one cost
Exactly.
and give it to me. But pay this. You got to pay this. So send some money here.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. I'm going to call Frank and the boys.
Fleetnetwork.com.au to choose your next vehicle and leave the rest to their dedicated team of experts.
There you bloody go. Fleet Network, novating leases all over the place. Holy shit, it's
Warnie.
Warnie from the
Warnie.
Traders. He joins us. Hello, mate.
Hey, how we doing, boys?
I've got
It's,
no audio. Hang
big
on.
night.
He's got his AirPods on. We can't hear you. You can hear us, obviously. We can't hear you. Have
Do I
have
need to
turned his
talk?
audio up on his thing? We got the audio on. We did this last time with Jack Buckley.
Can
He
you
looks
hear me?
perfect. Yes, we got you.
Yeah, Warnie.
You got
Absolutely.
me.
Hello, mate. Are you
You
in the middle
beauty.
of a draft right now?
I am in the middle of a draft. It's I've got pick 11 in a 12-team draft, so it's at the other end at the moment. So I'm not too bad. I've got a few minutes before I need to worry. Roy's on the clock at the moment. He's got the turn. He somehow got pick one. He bloody does that. He somehow ends up with pick one every single year. So we're what are we? Pick 97. It's up to at the minute. So I'm drafted okay, but it's going to be a challenging year. This forward line's shocking this season.
Now, Warnie, you would remember, if you're listening along, Warnie, Roy and Cal, the boys of the Traders, Dream Team Talk, they joined us last year. A bunch of good lads from Tasmania. Now,
Yes.
Warnie, I'm sure you've been following along with what we're doing on the podcast.
Obviously.
But we've got some questions to put to you. I have to say goodbye.
See you, mate.
Schoey's
going to pink.
Schoey's going to pink tonight.
I'm going to commentate the Freo Port game. I'm going to commentate the Freo Port game. I'll be watching fantasy players. You're going to tell these boys about the Tassie team. Warnie, great to see you. Cheers.
Cheers, Warnie.
Cheers.
Yeah, so
Also,
see
love
Schoey. Enjoy pink,
the
mate.
Macbeth t-shirt. I haven't seen Macbeth in quite a while. That's a throwback.
Schoey's just started singing Funhouse as he's running down the corridor there for everybody listening along.
Okay, Warnie, so a couple of weeks ago we were talking about how the Tassie team name is going to be released next week. As a Tassie man, do you have any intel for us? Like, have they sort of told their fans ahead of time?
No intel, but it has to be the Devils. I think it's all locked and loaded. Surely they need to go with the state colours and just lock in the Devils name because it's just simple.
Okay.
Look, Warnie, I think we were in agreement that it was probably going to be the Devils, the only team that it just clashes a bit with the Demons. So what we did here was that we thought, let's go exclusive of the Devils. Not going to be the Devils, not going to be the Tigers. If it couldn't be those two, what else would it be? So as a Taswegian, if you were to knock the Devils out of it and had to pick something else that was synonymous to Tassie, what's the first thing that springs to your mind?
Well, we've got the jack jumpers in the basketball, which a lot of people don't know. They're a bit of a native Tasmanian ant that we've got. But the turbo chooks, don't know if you know much.
That was just getting interesting too. The Tassie turbo chooks.
The turbo chooks. We'll get Warnie back on. I need to know what a turbo chook is.
And that works. The Tassie turbo chooks. I mean, it's not a salmon.
It's not.
And it's not a man. Oh, we're back. Okay, we still don't have audio. So
That's
while we're getting that audio back, Warnie, the Tassie turbo chooks, it rhymes, it works. I don't know what a turbo chook is, and we've lost him again.
That's all right. it's you know what? It's Friday, Hammer. Schoey and I started horribly on this show to be.
I wasn't here.
You weren't here. We couldn't speak because it's Friday. Technology's not working. Long weekend. That's all right. Why don't we move on?
We're going to come back to Warnie when Warnie jumps back in.
We'll move. We'll move
Let's
back
move.
to Warnie. I just wanted to
I'm
ask.
still interested to see what a turbo chook is.
That's right. Yeah. Well, what do you think it is? Like,
It's got to be a chicken. Like, I would say it's like a free range, uncaged. Well, that's free range, but like an no one's claimed it. It's a rogue chicken, like a Mustang for a horse. But
there's a
turbo
word for
chook.
that. What's the word? It's a
What? Like a word for
wild, like a wild
a Brumby.
Yeah,
A Brumby is a wild horse.
Yeah,
like
wild horse.
A turbo chook.
I think of it as a like a roadrunner.
Yeah, potentially.
That could also be what it is.
Yep.
I really want Warnie back because he's left us on the hook there.
As any good storyteller knows, drop the bomb and then just get out of there.
They call him the dangler, the juicy dangler. Oh, wait,
There's some phone sounds.
we've got him on the phone, I think. Warnie, have we got you there on the phone?
Yeah, you got me on the phone. Hopefully that's working.
Mate, you've left us absolutely dangling there
you've
with
edged
what a
me
turbo
right.
chook
I'm
is.
right there.
Please
What is
tell
a
us.
turbo chook?
So a turbo chook, pretty much, it's like a little native hen, essentially, and they've got quads like they're massive. They are bigger quads than mine, I reckon, and they can just run. They're quick. They're everywhere around the state. So I rock into work every day and they just bust across in front of you in the car park. So, yeah, there's a bit of traction with it, actually. So a few, one of the local radio stations made up some footy jumpers with them on there. So that could be what we have instead of the Devils if that wasn't the thing. So Google them, have a look. A navy pen, but we call them the Turbo Chooks.
The Turbo Chooks. Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny that you guys made up footy jumpers for them. Dan and I did a similar thing. We came up with our own Tasmanian team name. Mine was the Tassie Salmons, and Dan went with the Tassie Mountaineers. I'm not sure why. Apparently there's lots of mountains down in Tassie. But I thought the Tassie Salmons rung very true, and we came up with some... we put it to the BackChat audience, we put it to our patrons, to our fans, and Tassie Salmons was overwhelmingly the victor. How would you feel if and when that decision gets passed, if it was the Tassie Salmons?
Yeah, I don't know. We love a bit of salmon down here, and it goes all right. As long as it's not the trout. I don't know if you saw some of those viral videos last year.
We've been made to be like
we don't do that.
Just to protect your like opinion of us. We had no we just someone sent us in like the Tassie trouts. And we're like, yeah, that'll be funny. We had no idea.
Yeah,
we're too innocent about the video.
I'd seen it.
The only good thing about the Tassie Salmons, I obviously wasn't on board with that, but I am now. Is that the pink uniforms? Like that would be it. Like, imagine 22 guys running
out in pink. No one's done it. It's out there.
Salmon.
I like it.
It could work. I think, it would be an interesting one, which is almost what the Jack Jumpers were like as well when that came in. I think everyone turned their nose up at that, but now that's a bit of a winner.
Yeah, I love it. I think Mountaineers could also still get it. Warnie, you obviously you're doing your draft right now, and people have been going through this process over the last couple of weeks, and next week the season starts. Can you, for anyone that hasn't drafted their team yet or are still in that process, I mean, you're very good at this, I think. I mean, you've got a podcast about it, so I hope you're good at it. Any advice for people sort of in that process themselves?
I guess getting prepared at the moment, and I tell you what, you get a little bit of recency bias when you're watching a game of footy at the same time that you're drafting, because I just took myself a bit of Andy McGrath, who's got 97 fantasy points at the time of drafting, so I've just picked him, but he's rounded out my defence, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm back on the clock again now, looking for a midfielder to finish off, and I might go, the bloke that, I don't know if you've seen his latest profile pictures, but Matt Rao, he actually starts looking like that goat that's eating the grass now. So he's going to be in my midfield. So, but what you need to do, get organised. I think you need to find these players towards the mid and the later ends of your draft so that you can, you're just trying to find those little bargains. And a few blokes come out in these cracky games and all of that as you're going through that sort of step up. So, today we saw that Nick Martin's dominating on the half-back. He's listed as a midfield only, and so he's going to pick up that dual position status as a defender, and he should end up being one of the top 10 defenders in that role because the way he goes about it, like taking plenty of marks, he's got heaps there, and they just want the ball in his hands. He can run too, as you Western Australians would know. He just runs, and he's kicked a couple of snags as well.
Yeah, he's a start. Now,
West Coast apparently didn't know that.
Yeah, West Coast didn't know that, had him training on and thought, this bloke's no good. Now he's the best player in the comp. So 2 questions from my end for you, Warnie. One, is Harley Reid in your team, and has he gone in the draft yet?
So he hasn't gone in the draft. He's sitting there, but I think he will because he's got the forward status in fantasy, which is nice, and hopefully plays off that halfback because it's almost a new, more midfield time role if you're playing off the halfback. You can rack up a few extra stats there, the old +6s with the mark and kick that you can get there. So he will go. Like he's going to probably, I'm targeting him for my bench actually, but in the fantasy classic side, I think he's a must-have. Like people got a little bit cold on him last week, but that was his first game against another club in the AFL. He's going to be fine, and I think he's going to be given every opportunity to play that sort of halfback but midfield role as well. I think he's going to have time in the guts, I'm sure.
Yeah, he definitely will, and he's going to be certainly a good player. Now, mate, I've never necessarily been too much into to fantasy. I try and get up and about for it here and there. If I was to do it this year, the Traders would be what I'd be listening to and where I'd be going. What would I be getting from it? What's new for me this year? What am I expecting?
Yeah, so it's an interesting year this year because we've got that opening round, so fantasy won't start until the week after. So we get a little bit of a free look almost at some of these players in that opening round. So the content over the next week or so should help you build your side. And I think we're starting in December, so we've talked about a truckload of names, and probably our mind's been changed a little bit with some of our players as we've gone over the time. But I think it's trying to find these key players. Like we sort of broke the news on our podcast with we had Sam Flanders from Gold Coast on there, and he was sort of the first ones to really drop that Alex Sexton's playing in the half back line. So like I mentioned there, that he's one of those players that we like in the half back line. He's been a forward or even a small forward for most of his career and been pretty ordinary at fantasy, but he went back there, turned up in the other night in their pracky game. So he's someone that will be locking in because like he had a truckload. I think he had 30 touches or something like that. And so that's what you want. And fantasy is all about pretty much racking the stats up. And there's that other game, Supercoach, where it rewards better players apparently. But we just want ball pigs. We just want blokes that are getting the ball in their hand in fantasy footy, and that's what it's all about. We don't think, Tom Mitchell or Dane Swan have been the greatest players of all time, but there's the blokes that have had those massive fantasy averages in the past and have been those walk-up players for us with the captains, and that's an important part of the game too, because you want those blokes sort of pigging out and you get the double points from them as you skipper.
Very good. That's a lot of info, and I reckon I've tried fantasy myself, but I feel like if I was going to, I'd literally just listen to the pod. Did you start a Patreon as well?
Yeah, we did. So we started that up last year. It's going pretty well. It's pretty fun. So, trying to reach the heights of you guys. But a lot of people are pretty dedicated with it, and they love the content. And we've got a great following. We get over to WA. Looking forward to getting back over there in April, actually. Definitely. So going to do a bit of a show at the Campfield again, and we sold that out last year. So hopefully we can do the same this year and just drink a heap of piss with a bunch of legends, because WA is the fantasy capital of Australia. They all love it, and really? We love getting there.
Wow,
that's so good,
mate. One last one for me. What's the team name? What's your team name?
See, my team name's the WarneDawgs, so nickname Warnie, and just wanted to have some sort of monkey next to it.
The WarneDawgs.
DAWGS, so I think I'm some sort of gangster rapper or something like that. I don't know if that works because I made that about 20 years ago.
Yeah, you do look like a WarneDawg.
Hey, I'll leave you with this, Warnie. I saw something today. Kevin Sheedy was saying that he doesn't think the Tassie team will be the 19th team, and that he thinks potentially the better option is Newcastle. Any last thoughts on that?
Nah, we're locked in, aren't we? I don't think we need another New South Wales team, which obviously the Giants are bloody going all right on the field, but geez, you look at it, what we need as our Tassie team. I reckon a third team in WA is where we'd be going for our 20th team. Yeah,
I'd love that, absolutely. All right, Warnie, thank you so much, mate. Good luck with your draft. Hopefully you win. Do you have a punishment for last place?
We don't. We need to, but the one I want to put up there is the I like it a lot, like going to an open mic night and the loser has to go and do a 5-minute comedy session. So I reckon that'd be a good one, because I reckon the entertainment you get from the other 11 blokes in your league would be absolutely priceless.
That would be humour. Well, I mean, another option is obviously Schoey style, just a nude lap around Optus. Doesn't need to be Optus, can be wherever you want, but there's always a couple of options there for the last player.
Actually, that was one thing I sadly had to do for our Patreon. I had to do a lap of UTAS Stadium with the gear off, and in Tasmania, she gets pretty cold in July.
Yeah, well, certainly, especially if the salmon start biting.
Well, thank you, Warnie.
Thanks, Warnie.
Good luck with your draft, and we'll chat to you soon, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, legend. See ya.
Warnie, there you go. What a legend. That's right, you can tap away.
You said it, we read it.
If it's good.
If it's good.
We did say that we were going to get rid of this segment, and it's been now, 6 episodes into the year or something like that, and I think we've just done it every week.
They've come sizzling in. We've actually done it twice in 1 week, because we did it on Monday.
So we're back.
We're back. Look, I don't know if any of this is for Schoey, but he's not here, so I'm just going to go straight off the top here.
I'll answer for Schoey if it's for Schoey.
Great. This is from Cal. G'day, gents. Just wondering if you could elaborate a bit on what happens behind the scenes for an AFL preseason. Well, there you go. You can answer this.
I can elaborate.
You mentioned in last week's episode we have now entered into in-season routines. What's happening before that? Are teams training twice a day? Weight sessions? What extras would the boy be doing to be extremely jacked? There's a lot there. There's some more questions.
Yeah.
Why don't we start?
This will be a quick breakdown. Mm-hmm. The preseason is from basically when you get back in last week of November to about early Feb, I would say, mid to early Feb. You have that 3-month period of 3 main sessions a week, and they're like, you're getting 30 Ks in a week. You do a couple of extra skill sessions a week. You're lifting weights 3 or 4 times a week. It is pretty much you're on track 5 to 6 days of the week doing a heap of work. That's where you build your volume, you build your intensity, and then once you start in season, the training volume drops, but the game loads increase. So you're sitting at about the same volume, but the training drops and you just play a game. So it feels like you're doing less. You are doing pretty similar, but you do the bulk of your work in the preseason to build your fitness, and then it all just scales back. So it just feels as a player like you just crawl to the finish line. It's hot, especially in the middle of summer. You're stinking hot. You're bloody knackered. And then you get to in-season, and it's like, oh, now we start playing games. This is what the fun is. So that's that little flip. That's what you live for.
And then this also says, what's the and for you, Hammer, how would it differ to a waffle preseason session?
This is tough, and it's a interesting one to sort of speak about. The waffle preseason versus an AFL preseason, you're not there as much. You're trying to cram everything into 3 nights a week, 3 hours. So it's a bit more difficult. A lot of the time you have to do your gym sessions in and around work and at your own pace. You're obviously not working to the intent, and the volume's not as much. But like they try and structure the sessions in a similar way. You do a lot of running, you do a lot of ball work, and then you do match sim drills. You try, and the more that football goes on, you're trying to do that match sim stuff earlier into the preseason. So it mirrors it in a sense, the same style of in preseason to in season, but we're trying to cram everything into 3 hours. 3 nights a week.
Of course. And of course, you left a bag of footy stuff here last week.
Yeah.
Were you running around without shoes on or something?
No, I was running around. I was meant to do a running session, but I had to do it in boots because my runners were here. But I had my mouth guard luckily at training, so I was fine.
Well, even with the running session, you chucked the mouth guard in?
No, so I had my boots that I had to run. But like at training, my mouth guard wasn't in my bag, so I didn't have to miss that one. Okay, Sometimes you run with your mouth guard in. I remember
really? Why?
Just goes. I don't. I remember Drew Petrie, though, when he came back for that waffle year in 2019, the worst kept secret in the waffle, all of a sudden Drew Petrie was back. He was working at West Coast. And sometimes the staff during lunch or whatever will just run laps around the oval just to keep fit. And when the rumours started going around that Drew was coming back, you saw him start running around the boundary with a mouth guard in, and it was like he was just doing 400s, getting used to wearing and running with a mouth guard again. Shit, it was funny.
Did you? I remember getting my first mouth guard when I was under 9s or something like that.
Yep.
They bring the people into the club, and there's a lady holding on to like a plastic thing, shoving it up. Is that how they do it?
Yeah. So I actually got a mouth guard fitted last week.
Did you?
Actually, no, earlier this week from Gobsmacked. It's
Love that.
Rob, an old East Perth guy, work at Gobsmacked, so he's fitted me with a mouth guard. But the very first one that I got was from the chemist. You throw it in a pot of boiling water,
I remember
it
those.
melts the gel, and you stick it in there yourself, and it just burns for the first 2 seconds, and then it sort of sits, and it's real
Also,
awkward.
it never really molds to your teeth.
Terrible. And then like over the years, you just fill the mouth like this guard out with this weird putty stuff, and you stick it in your mouth, and it's like doing all that would have sounded terrible on the mic just then. But yeah, you just do that, and then it just sort of like you create this mouth guard from your sort of indentations. But yeah, the technology's come a long way. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't be running out there without one. That's for damn sure.
I remember getting to pick the colour because I played for the Bombers, and then I had like a half red, half black.
Yeah.
And it's just baller. I remember like the first time actually getting it, and I think I would have just been wearing it around the house, right?
Yeah, I had one of them. The Hampton Rovers, green and gold. That was dope.
Yeah,
that was cool.
so good.
I'm just all white now, just pure.
Yeah, that's good. Do you get to choose colours?
Yeah, I could have chosen different colours, but I was like, you just look like an idiot now. I think as an adult with like
the split.
The split.
Oh, there we go. Well, that's BackChat on a Friday.
Yeah.
It's first time in history that's ever, maybe early days, we maybe just randomly released one on a Friday when we forgot.
Yeah, could have done.
First time on a Friday. You try to break a record. We can talk about this now because now it's out. You try to break a record on Thursday.
Yeah, I tried to break a record.
The shaving cream and ping pong balls. If you haven't seen this, just search Ham Breaks on YouTube.
Yep.
Can you just explain what you had to do?
So the record was the most amount of ping pong balls bounced off a wall into like
your head of
a
foam.
crown of shaving foam in 30 seconds, and it was 14 was the record. And like I was watching myself back on the video today, and I was just devastated. Like I got
You were
8.
on so
I got
early.
8. I think it was the third or the fourth one. I got 8 in 10 seconds. And then, like, I reckon 6 in a row just, like, hit this middle patch. And there was so much room to the sides.
Yeah,
I was just like, just fucking move your head, you idiot. Anyway, looking at that one back, it was gettable. I got something in the pipes for this one.
Yeah. Well,
this
actually,
is going to be an interesting one. We're going straight after this.
Straight after this, we're about to do one. So I'm feeling confident. I'm
feeling confident
When you told me
too.
what it was, I was like, okay, that seems really hard. And then I saw the example.
You see the video, and it's like,
oh my gosh, I could do that.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
feels like you could.
Before we wrap up, we got a couple of finds. Let's hear the first one. Hopefully, they're not for Schoey.
Fellas, $2 fine for Basil Zemplis.
Fair enough.
$1 for yelling in the mic so much.
He's loud,
another
man.
$1 for talking about Bruce McAvaney and Dennis Cometti more than himself. Keep fisting.
Fair enough. Keep fisting.
keep
Respect.
fisting.
We're in the Western
Yeah,
Fisters.
yeah. My
Shorts here.
favourite shorts.
Have you got the Aussie ones?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if
Are they as nice?
They don't have pockets. Exact same. Thanks to ID Athletic made the Aussie ones as well.
Yep.
Who made our Western Fisters stuff. Exact same. No pockets.
No pockets. That's
that was
devastating.
a decision based from Fistball though. That wasn't ID Athletic.
Hey fellas, it's Dick Inspection here. Just finding Dan $2.78 for that. One time he brought up demerit points on the pod in like the early stages. Like, come on, mate. You're the professional athlete in the group. You're representing Australia. You got to set the standards for the two knuckleheads you're on the podcast with. That don't know what they're talking about. Like, fuck. Anyway, time to turn on 2018 Grand Final highlights and have a wank every time Schoey does something good. Dick's going to hurt by the end. So, yeah, cheers.
Christ almighty.
Okay.
Couple of things about that. So, I love the fake names, but Dick Inspection.
It's just two words.
Yeah.
Just he mentioned the demerit points. So I think episode 4.
Yeah, good on him. That's some real deep diving.
That's real deep. So
Yeah.
me and Schoey both called the license center,
Yeah.
and we did the process where it tells you how many demerit points you have been given.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he'd been given more than I had. I thought about it randomly actually last week. I don't think I've gotten, and I don't like saying this because I
Yep.
feel like I'm on the verge of getting one.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've gotten a fine in the last 3 years, and I
Yeah.
think I currently sit on 0 demerit
Tell you what
points.
is really disappointing.
What?
Not like 2 days ago I got flashed.
Oh.
But it was one. They're sneaky. The cops, they do it well. I mean, it's their job. But geez, you know,
Oh, was it a movable one?
West Coast Highway.
Yep.
Traveling from the so crossed over Brighton Road.
Yep.
Before Hale Road, that turns from 60 to 70.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, it does. And there's like routinely cars parked on the left on the verge just for the houses there.
Yep.
And there was like a ute there, which I wasn't even looking at. Turns out there was a camera in the back of the ute. And I would have been like 100 metres from the 70. And I've just like sped up. There was no one on the road. I'm just thinking, yep, sweet. There's the 70. I'm going to speed up. And then flash. I'm like, oh, I was doing 70.
Yep.
I can see the 70 sign. I was just devastated.
That's bull, putting it so close to the sign. That's
Yeah.
entrapment.
It is entrapment.
You should write an email.
I probably won't. If I send it, they might read it. If it's any good.
It's good.
So yeah, we'll see where that one lands. Haven't got it yet. It was only 2 days ago, so
Okay.
I'll get back to us with that.
Do you reckon you've got demerit points in the bank?
Well, I haven't yet. I've got all my demerit points. I
Okay,
think.
good.
But I definitely I got flashed.
Okay.
I was the only person in the vicinity, so it was me. And I was doing 70.
There you go. That's our Friday BackChat episode. Look, if you loved it, let us know. If you hated it,
Yeah,
tell
let
us
us
as well,
know.
because I love hearing that stuff.
Yeah.
BackChat _ is where you find us on socials. Thanks to Fleet Network, of course, powering the podcast for 2024.
Yeah, go on Novoted yourself a lease.
Of
Everybody.
course, Shelter Brewing Co., Mama Digital, Whippersnapper Whiskey. We've got some new stuff starting next week. So next week, just quickly, 4:30 on YouTube. If you go to our YouTube page, you will see BackChat live. It is
We're
coming out
live, yep.
live on Mondays and Fridays, both at 4:30. We're very excited about it. It's an opportunity for you to listen right as we're recording it, but then it'll come out anyway, just like normal, which is pretty cool. Also, tipping. You got to sign up as a
Yeah,
patron.
you've got to be a patron. You can be the $5 back pocket. It can be the $10 halfback flanker. It can be the $20 fullback.
Nailed
That
it.
is per month. Like that's what? A coffee, 2 coffees, 4 coffees.
Yep.
Or maybe one and like 2
It's
and
a
half.
pint a month for the $10 one, or
a pint,
or 2
a pint
pints
a month. Yep.
Yep.
I've stopped. I haven't. I'm not drinking until the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
The money that I've saved on pints, I could be like so many fullbacks. I could field a team of fullbacks.
You could do that. There's no rules to say that you
Nothing's
can't.
stopping me.
You could.
It would be silly for
Put
me
in
because
$1
I
million.
can't win the prize. So
Yeah,
I'd be
$2,001, which is absolutely
$2,001
huge.
Ultimate cash prize.
Hammer, I'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, I'll see you on Monday, and I'll probably stick around and see you in.
Let's break a record.
Let's break a record.
Yeah, great.